I don't mind at all body cams on law enforcement. At all. Matter of fact, I don't know if the story has made its way to the media. I'm surprised no one's leaked it. I pushed hard at the FBI to dramatically expand the body cam program because it keeps everybody safe. If you're doing the right thing, the body cam protects you. He called me a racial epithet. Let's go to the body cam. No, he didn't. Or if he did, he gets fired. End of story. I don't believe there's any downside to body cams on net.
One of the main demands we've been hearing from Democrats is they want ICE to wear body cameras, and Republicans are okay with that. But now Democrats are saying they're worried those body cameras will be used to surveil or spy on anti-ICE protesters or track them in some way. So now Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are saying they want restrictions on how those ICE body cameras will be used.
So they loved body cams, and now they don't want body cams anymore. Let me rephrase this. On net, I think they're fine, but there are some downsides. I shouldn't have said it that way. On net obviously means that there's going to be some downsides, but the upsides outweigh it. Precise language matters. Folks, I was very honest with you about the surveillance state the other day. Very honest with you. I said, listen, I've seen a lot of frightening surveillance tools. Frightening surveillance tools in that they can do a lot of really powerful things. That's why in addressing the Guthrie case last night, it's kind of hard for me I have to be careful what I say because I don't want to tell you the tools that we do have when we need them because I don't want criminals to be able to circumvent and bypass those tools. But they're frightening because under the wrong people, they can be abused. Now, body cams have been around a long time. It's certainly not a new surveillance tool. But yes, it can be used to aggregate data, to use that data to run AI through these filters. These are things that all have to be considered. However, I think on net, with the proper guardrails, it is a fantastic technology to keep everybody safe. The Democrats are just bullshitters. They just don't want to use an AI because they don't want you to identify more criminals. But they wanted to use body cams when they thought they would be an indictable tool to get some of our ICE officers thrown in jail. And then they realized that misfeasance and malfeasance on behalf of ICE and CBP is very low. And like, well, if we can't use it to screw them, then I don't want it anymore. These people are full of shit. They don't mean a damn thing. But you know what it makes really hard? Abiding by constitutional principles and your freedom to be left alone if you're doing nothing wrong. Be really careful about this stuff. Secretary Noem coming up. I want to talk about this. This is the misinformation piece I was talking about. This is how the media does the framing, the narrative building, where they get a story out there that rockets around the globe, and by the time the story's corrected in this asymmetric warfare game, it's already too late. People already believe it. This CBS News piece came out yesterday. This is narrative building. It's meant to make you believe that Donald Trump and his team of jackbooted thugs are out there deporting people who've been in the country who are law-abiding. They were just sitting there watching a movie in the movie theater doing nothing wrong, and a bunch of people rolled in and ripped them out of the movie theater. That's the narrative they want you to believe. That is not what's happening. They are targeting criminals, violent criminals, people accused of breaking the law. And as I've told you now, and I'll bring it up again later, sometimes other illegals hang out with other illegals who've committed crimes, so they get deported too. You shouldn't be in the country illegally. Here's the CBS News story I was talking about. Quote, Camila Montoya Galvez. Less than 14% of those arrested by ICE in Trump's first year back in office had violent criminal records, document shows. You read that headline, you're like, wow, man, that's talking about 80+% of people now who, quote, is the leftist narrative. Now, they didn't do anything wrong and they're getting deported. Well, they're in the country illegally, which means you did something wrong. There's a process to come into the country. Tricia McLaughlin's been doing a good job batting some of this stuff down, DHS spokesperson. She put out this tweet that now clarifies. You want to know the truth or not? If you don't want to know the truth, this isn't the show for you. Drug trafficking, distribution of child pornography, burglary, fraud, DUI, embezzlement, solicitation of a minor, human smuggling are all categorized, according to some of the stuff, as nonviolent crimes. She notes, like we said, 70% of those illegal aliens arrested under President Trump and Secretary Noem have pending criminal charges or prior convictions. Folks, I live this stuff. The president has a different approach to this. I've told you this a quadrillion times. If you're in the country illegally, he's given you about 5 minutes to cooperate if you have information about a bigger fish that needs to be arrested and they can use you. If they can't use you, you're out. You're not spending any time in any unnecessary time beyond the obvious in our detention facilities where we got to feed you, take care of you, do all this stuff. You're going back to your home country. That's it. You may say, well, that seems obvious. It's not. It had never been done before on this scale. Nothing close had been done on this scale. Nothing. That's why the crime rate is so freaking low right now, because of this revolutionary approach to this stuff. The Rapid Response Account 47 put this out on Twitter as well. The fake news seems to think that illegal alien drug traffickers, drunk drivers, burglars, and those with weapons charges, whom they classify as nonviolent offenders should be left alone, allowed to roam freely within the United States. Not under this administration. This is the stuff we have to shoot down. This is where over the past year I really missed you guys, because I would read this stuff. I told you when I came back and did my first appearance with with Haley on her show, that Obamacare story drove me nuts. I can't believe Republicans didn't fight back harder. The Democrats want more taxpayer money for Obamacare, despite running for years that Obamacare was going to make healthcare cheaper and more affordable. The Republicans had almost not all of them, but like a feckless response to this. We got to subsidize Obamacare with more money. Why not just say the whole thing is shit? And that's why the Democrats are trying to bail it out with more of your money, even though they told you it would require less of your money. I missed it so much, debunking these just ridiculous narratives. There have been more wins as well. Excuse me. The TPS, temporary protected status. This is the stuff you don't hear about from them outside of media outlets that want to play it straight. See this tweet right here. Is it a Fox News story? The temporary protected status, where a bunch of people were staying in the country almost permanently. Keep this up a second. Ninth Circuit issues orders siding with Trump DHS on terminating TPS for Nicaragua, Nepal, and Honduras. Folks, it was called TPS, temporary protected status. It was not meant to be a permanent get-out-of-jail-free card where you get to stay in the country forever. That's why it was called temporary protected status. The court ruled the government's likely to win its case for terminating the status. There's more progress for the libs and the other folks who want you to believe nothing's ever happening. The Minnesota case with the anti-ICE protests and the fraud. They're up to now apparently close to 158 and growing arrests. I told you there's a limitation on the number of United States attorneys. The federal government doesn't have nationwide as many district attorneys, city states attorneys as the municipalities, the state, local, and territorial and tribal folks do. However, that's a pretty good haul and a pretty good number of people. It's not the end game, but you see from this, you see all the other people pretending nothing's ever happening. It is happening. 158 arrests on these anti-ICE protests. It was a zero hedge. Feds have charged 158 anti-ICE agitators with federal crimes in Minnesota. Is this the end? Does this mean we stop calling for accountability? It doesn't mean any of that stuff, not even close. It just means that a psychological operation to depress turnout and make you believe nothing is happening so you sit at home and don't vote, which leads to an impeachment of President Trump and 2 years of hell and chaos again. I'm not letting it happen. I'll give you both sides of it, fair and square. I'm sorry to take kind of a quick, this should not be, this is the most ridiculous clip. I hesitated to Mecklenburg County. Have you guys seen this? I hesitated to put this into the show. But folks, if you're going to be a public servant and you're going to raise your right hand and swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and your state's constitution and documents, then you should at least understand basic things. I get it. Once in a while, people are going to ask you, did you see the clip out of Mecklenburg County, North Carolina? You should know basic stuff. If you don't know the exact precise number of, say, white-collar crypto crime arrests, and you may be off by 10 or 15, say, hey, I'll get back to you. But knowing the basic structure of government is kind of a big deal. This clip went nuclear for all the wrong reasons. out of North Carolina. The sheriff there in Mecklenburg County is being questioned. And I genuinely believe this. The representative asking him the questions just asks him about the branches of government. I swear to you, this is not one of those gotcha questions. You can see by his reaction. He's genuinely stunned that the guy doesn't know. This is not a gotcha question at all. If you haven't seen this cut, get ready for like serious 100 out of 100 on the cringe scale. Check this out.
Which government do you operate under?
Mecklenburg County.
What branch of government do you operate under, Sheriff?
Constitution of the United States.
Correct. That is what establishes the branches of government. I'm asking which branch you fall under.
Mecklenburg County. I'm a duly sworn Mecklenburg County Sheriff. We answer to the people of Mecklenburg County.
This was not where I was anticipating getting stuck. Are you aware of how many branches of government there are?
No.
Okay. For the sake of debate, I will move on and say there are 3 branches of government: legislative, executive, judicial. Of those 3, which do you believe you fall under?
I believe I fall under the last one.
Would you say it to me?
Judicial.
Okay. You are incorrect, sir. You fall under the executive.
The chat, yes, I see you guys in the chat. I see Muttley's in there, not bright, okay, hum, Fluoro, 5, eek, damn, Coops, 00, this is just terrible. Guys, ladies, it's not like he just gets the first question wrong. He just continues to double down. I don't like pylons. I don't. I really don't. I try to avoid them. No. You got to know, at least get one of them right. Do better. Just do better. Go home and pick up a Charlie Brown encyclopedia. Again, I'm not telling you as a public servant that you're not going to screw up an answer. It happens sometimes. Sometimes you're asked about a program that's operating underneath you. You've only been briefed on the atmospherics of it. You go, hey, I'll get back to you later. Fine, okay. But people in government should be held to a higher, not a lower standard. It certainly isn't about the pay, but it's about the principles. And that's why accountability matters. That leads me to this other clip. I don't know if you saw this, that's been making its way around social media, of a judge reducing significantly the sentencing of this guy convicted of a horrific crime and sympathizing with the perp and not the victim. He had no chance at life. Either did the victim. This is why people have lost faith in institutions, folks, and it's going to take a long damn time to get them back. Check this out.
Judge Davis thought the jury's recommendation was too long. She feels he hasn't mentally matured yet and never had a real shot at getting any help early in life.
While incarcerated is beyond being rehabilitated.
He's not going to get the resources. He's going to spend his whole life in jail. Oh, boo-hoo. Cry me a river, man. This is what happens when you view the world in this utopian, Pollyanna-ish vision, where you don't see the balance between good and evil that's very real. You see the bad guy, the perpetrator, as being a victim of a corrupt society. Folks, that's not the way this is ever going to work. Victims have rights too. That kind of stuff pisses me off.